Merry Thanksgiving. As a dude that's been covering this since it started, as far as their responses go, I'm not gonna lie, unless something crazy happens, I don't know. Tory flexed on Lucky You, Joyner battled on Litty Again or Litty Freestyle. Tory returned fire and even gave him more work on Litty Again Freestyle, which in my opinion was the superior freestyle when it comes to their Litty verses. The instrumental itself, the Meek Mill beat, I thought Tory had one up on Joyner on that. And I think Joyner had one up on Tory when he initially came back with his response. I don't understand or really think that Tory fully understood the depth of the situation that he was in. Again, these are two artists that I believe rap really well and, have the capability to become even bigger than what they are. I think the lack of interest just from the mainstream in this back and forth alone is just that it's lacking motivation. It isn't inspired by anything other than the spirit of hip-hop, which for a lot of people is enough. But for like mainstream audiences, for like Twitter and for all the other social media outlets, something like this probably won't be covered as much because it isn't inspired by some kind of dramatic event that took place, or they can't, there's not really any tea to spill. Me, on the other hand, I'm interested, but I'm only interested for so long. ZEZE from Joyner Lucas. I love this beat. I don't know how Joyner's gonna rap over it, but let's give it a try. ZEZE, Me is gonna listen.
Yeah,
that was trash.
Like,
I agree with you. I agree. You ain't gotta
I'm just
tell
letting
me.
you know. You know that was trash,
right?
right? I'm just letting you know because I was garbage.
Boy, you just a pony with a pink saddle. I'm truly sorry that you stuck inside of Drake's shadow. When are you gonna show us that you number one? And everything that you accomplished in some years about to take me just a couple months.
Coming right out of the gate, I think those are pretty decent lines. Talking about he's about to accomplish more than Tory it has in his career, versus Joyner, who's only been out, and doing it for about a year himself now. And also asking Tory when you're gonna show that you're number one, because that is a thing that I acknowledge as well. Tory, just because you're bigger than Joyner doesn't make you number one. The eyes of people who view Kendrick and Cole and Drake in those conversations, people still aren't throwing you up there, so it's kind of odd to flex in that way. Because you're bigger than him doesn't mean you're bigger than all of this. And I guess that's kind of the point. There's still someone bigger or better than you. But I think you could go a little bit deeper into that. When are you gonna show us your number one thing? So I like that line.
Heard your grandmama kicked you out the house screaming, Tory, we don't fucking need you. Why your daddy up and leave you? My puppet, you my cousin Skeeter. This ain't what you wanted, they been waiting for it. Flying like a lazy boy. All you do is cry, you a child, you my baby boy. You call sunshine and start crying sometimes. Your real name is Daystar, you been dying to shine.
Mean?
And when you sing, it kinda sound like you're dying sometimes. And that writer who wrote your shit still ain't got paid on that Don't Die record. You should probably go pay the nigga. 2 minutes and 50 seconds sound exactly like the art of peer pressure. Go take a listen.
He said a lot about what Tory Lanez has been accused of. He's saying a lot about, Tory Lanez and how he moves, or, how Tory Lanez had a tendency, and I will, to a certain degree, agree that even when it came to situations like Drake, there was a lot of jabs subtly thrown his way, and, Tory admitted to being an avid fan of Drake before he got to this position and even before this point. So I agree to that extent. The only thing this is suffering from, to me, is Joyner giving us information in a way that isn't necessarily creative. Is just verbatim telling us either things we already know he's been accused of, or information that's already out. And my thing with rap is not to come off as if you are a journalist. That's what you should avoid, in my opinion, if you're trying to be a rap artist, because, and I don't want to tell you what to do because I don't know, what your job specifically is, but to my knowledge, it would make more sense to, as a rapper, twist things into a certain narrative to make yourself the victor, make yourself be more advantageous than your opponent. So I just think personally, just saying it doesn't really do much. Just telling us information we already know. You're limiting yourself to the Meek Mill wanna know diss, basically, where he basically played the entire reference track for Drake in his diss record. And not only did it take away from the replayability of Meek's diss record, but it made it look cringe because it's like you think no one knows this already. You found it so substantial that you needed to repeat it for whatever reason. And you didn't say it in any kind of clever way. You just kind of threw the information out there as if you were a part of a gossip group or a hip hop forum. I really don't want to make this joke, but I'm gonna do it. You gonna have to do more than just say it.
Like that
was bad.
They don't need to see that.
You thought you would fly to the plane drop. Ugly motherfucker trying to stunt in the tank top. It's no wonder. Don't even think about touching that TV. No more video games, no more phone, no more 3D, no more radio or boombox for your weak ass.
It's just, you know, the thing that made Tory's diss more hard hitting, at least when it came to the Litty freestyle, is he put things in a way that you could believe are possible. Like that whole dad narrative. We don't know for sure if that's how Joyner's father feels. But the idea and the way Tory said it in the diss, leading to the thought that it could be true based off of how realistic he was when he was saying what he was saying, made me think it was possible. When you bring these random ass false narratives and you just tell these stories, it makes me feel like you're fishing so hard for something else to grab that you literally have to make shit up to have anything poignant to say in your diss, your battle back to him. Like, just like coming up with fairy tale, I'm your father, basically, like, and not doing it in a clever way. Like, you're just saying it. The reason why Tory was so much more impactful by for one, not rapping as if he were your father. He played off of your name and said, hey, I'm your father because it's Luke, like Lucas, but Luke from Star Wars. He made it clever. He didn't have to say verbatim, I'm your dad. We're going to go into all the reasons why I'm disappointed in you. Like, what is that?
Should've knew you weren't be shit when you came out with a baby dick. It's no wonder why you pay for pussy.
Oh my
you
God.
think you slim. All you do is lounge around the house all day like
fathom.
Nah,
like,
I
try
didn't
to
do that.
look at this objectively.
I'm sorry, man. What am I supposed to say to this, dog?
Not really said all these things.
Come on, dog.
I don't really know how maybe this is
That's whack. He came out with a baby dick? Are you serious?
Are you his dad?
Oh my goodness, dude.
I'm really disappointed in you, son. I need some answers. How come you couldn't follow in my steps and be a dancer? Now hurry up and get your juicy out the refrigerator. You going to bed at 8 o'clock and not a minute later. Hey, little nigga, you a rebound. Even Scottie Pippen and all niggas. You caught feelings, your heart spinning, my boss.
I like this flow at the end.
We know what's up, you know?
I guess so. This wasn't it. Now that I see the issue, I think just overall it makes me less interested in the battle right now. Because I don't really see the issue fixing itself. And I don't necessarily see Joyner being able to, have a deep dive on himself to, change any of these things that kind of plague his success in this beef or in this battle and in this overall in his overall art. One of the things to me that I think is holding him back, at least when it comes to this battle itself, is just being way too playground with it and not necessarily having the complexity behind the things that he says. Because technically, if we're going based off of a rapping standpoint, Joyner is a good artist, and I know a lot of y'all love people that can flow certain ways and can rap really fast, but I think one of the things that you need to have in a battle is the ability to make people perceive someone else a certain way. And I think Drake had the edge on Meek in their battle when it came to making Meek's perception take a hit. When it came to making the perception of Meek Mill be that of a guy who was second to his woman in the rap game, in the financial game, second to himself as an artist, being able to make people look at you a certain way. I think he did that well. And I think it's the same thing here. I don't look at Tory any different based off of Joyner's freestyles at him. I don't think Joyner utilizes the information that he has on Tory to his advantage enough for me to give him points for the things that he's saying. Because the things that he's saying are not only things that we know, but they're not worded or used in any kind of manipulative or any kind of creative or executed in a way that this information can be used as Joyner's tools in the rap battle. They're just thrown out there. And I think when it came to Tory, he was a little bit more intricate in the way he was trying to make Joyner look. By the end of all this, you kind of get the perception that Tory from the beginning was trying to say that I'm doing you a favor by even saying your name. You're this insignificant, you're this low to me that, you know, a response from me, even if it's a diss, would help you. And when I look at what Joyner was trying to say at Tory, I don't have anything. And I'm not saying that what Tory said is like that much better. I'm just saying in comparison, it's not really that much of a contest. And I like Joyner as a lyrical guy. I think Joyner's a great artist. I just don't think this is what it is. And I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm like super disappointed, because it's just a rap battle. Some people lose. Sometimes people don't bring their A game. Sometimes somebody takes an L or a W for a certain round. But yeah, I don't think this one was it. This one wasn't it for me, Chief. And I think that I'm pretty sure that's the end of this back and forth. I'm pretty sure that's the end of it. I don't think they need to do anything more than this, because at this point, like I said, now that I see the problem, at least for me, it's not really a point in continuing the back and forth. He's exposed his issue, unfortunately, in rapping at Tory. But I'll see y'all next time. I'm out. Get your panties out of a bunch. I know you love Joyner. I like Joyner too, but I'm trying to be as objective as possible when it comes to viewing this back and forth. And if it's not it, I'm gonna tell you it's not it. Peace.